I think the kids are really going to love it. It's a pasta and Italian sausage soup. So I'm always coming up with new different soup recipes. This one I think is a winner. So I'm starting out with some sweet or mild Italian sausage. If you like a little kick, you could certainly do the hot. But we're going to keep this pretty kid-friendly. And it used to be when you got Italian sausage that you'd have to get it in the links, and it was kind of a hassle. You have to split the links open and then, you know, get the sausage out. Now, Festival makes bulk Italian sausage, and it rocks. And it's the best, some of the best Italian sausage I have ever had. Great flavor in there. So you just have to squeeze it right out, and perfect for recipes like this. You know, spaghetti sauce or soup. I'll stuff mushrooms with this Italian sausage. It's just yummy. Okay, I'm going to use my old chop and stir to start breaking this up. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. I'm going to drop some pasta. I thought this would be a fun soup and thought, you know, why not use a fun noodle? So we're going to use those curly rotini noodles. If you have the multicolored ones, those are great too. 2 cups we're using. I'm going to do a little olive oil because, boy, this sausage is so lean these days, which is a good thing, but sometimes you need a little oil to get things going. Now to my sausage, I'm going to add some finely diced onion, about 1 yellow onion, medium size, diced up, and if I dice it up real fine, kids won't even know it's in there, and it'll give it some great onion flavor. Oh, it smells good. Probably my favorite part about winter is a Sunday afternoon with not a lot going on. Put my apron on and get a good book and make a big batch of soup. And while the soup's hanging out, I go back to the couch and read my book and have a cup of coffee and snuggle up. And it's just, that's really one of my perfect days. Okay, so I'm going to add to my soup kettle here some celery and some carrot that we just kind of diced up. A little more olive oil, just because I can tell we need it. And I want to season my pasta water. Almost forgot to do that. A little bit of salt while that pasta is boiling in that water. That's going to really give it some great flavor. Okay, so I'm just going to let that hang out and do its thing for a minute. I want the vegetables to cook a little bit, the sausage to no longer be pink and nice and crumbly, and those veggies, like I say, just to get a little bit tender. Let me tell you, if you don't have a nice big soup kettle, invest in one. You know, even you can find them at Goodwill sometime. One of my favorite gifts that I've ever received was a big soup kettle that I got actually for a wedding gift. And I use it all the time, and it's just, you know, it's nice and big because when you're making soup, you don't want soup to be all over the kitchen. So you need a nice big kettle, and this happens to be a really great one. Okay. Oh, that coffee tastes extra good today. How are you today, Miss Ann?
Wonderful.
Good. Excited about the soup? Cool. Yeah, I love soup, and I think sometimes a big bowl of soup and some bread for dinner just hits the spot, especially on a cold winter day. I'm going to dice up some garlic, or just mince it up, I should say. You know me, I just use the back of a knife. No fancy tools. We're using about 4 cloves of fresh garlic. Or if you had the jarred garlic, that would work fine too in this recipe. I also have some zucchini, or you could use some yellow summer squash, or a combination of both. Or if you don't like it, leave it out altogether. So I thought it really would work nicely in this soup. And I love zucchini, I really do. So the key with zucchini is, though, it can be very sandy. So it's really important to wash it well. Sometimes I'll even use a little bit of a scrub brush just to get any of that grit. And when I'm buying zucchini at the grocery store, or even if it's summer and I see it at the farmer's market, I always try and go for the littler zucchini. I think sometimes the bigger guys can be a little bit bitter, so kind of keep that in mind. We're just going to cut up one of them. Very good for you. And every time I have it, I say to myself, well, I got to put zucchini in more recipes. And I'm just going to kind of chunk it up. I didn't put it in there right away because it cooks very quickly, and I don't want it to get mushy. So I'm going to wait to put that zucchini in just for another minute or two longer. The celery, the onion, and carrot take quite a bit longer to cook. So keep that in mind when you're adding different vegetables to your soups. Especially, potatoes. Okay, in goes our fresh garlic. And what's the rule when we use fresh garlic? Move it, move it, move it. Once it hits the pan, you don't want it to burn. About a 30-second rule. You just want to keep moving it around. Now, that's especially true when we have nothing else in the pan. But now we have quite a, we've got a lot of other stuff in here, so it's not quite as crucial, but we just don't want to overcook it. We certainly don't want to burn it. Ruin the whole batch of soup. Just when you start to smell it, we're good. Dried basil, dried oregano. Now we're going to get our zucchini in here. And at this point, it's kind of a dump and go type of recipe. Just want to get a little bit of color on there, so I'm going to do a little olive oil. Just want to get that zucchini some flavor and a little bit of salt and pepper. Remember that Italian sausage has quite a bit of seasoning in it already, but soups, you always need to season as you go. That's so important. Throw a little bit of salt in there and pepper at the very end. It just doesn't work that way. Okay, how's my pasta doing? I think my pasta, don't want to overcook it because it's going to go in the soup, so don't want mushy noodles in my soup. No way, Jose. So I just want to drain that. And start putting the soup together. So as I said, now it's time to kind of dump and go. I've got 1 jar of your favorite spaghetti sauce, whatever's on sale, doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be fancy. So spaghetti sauce, marinara sauce. Greg, where are you when I need you? All right, Anne, see if you can do this. My hands are kind of, I've got 1 can of diced tomatoes with the juice. Throw the juice right in there. No need to drain that. Is there a man in the house? A little bit of dry red or white wine, and just happen to have a little bit left over in that bottle, so we're going to use it up. Very good, Anne. She got her. In goes our 1 jar of spaghetti sauce, and that's something I always try and keep on hand because you can do so many different things with it. Spaghetti sauce isn't just about, for spaghetti. I use it in a lot of different soups and things like that. Now you notice I put a little bit of water in the jar, shake it up, and that'll get every little last bit of that out of there. Now I'm going to do some chicken stock. Hate to see that go to waste. And the recipe calls for about 2 to 4 cups, so it just depends how thick and chunky you want your soup. So we'll start with about 2. I want to bring this up to a simmer, let it cook for a few minutes, and then we're going to add our pasta. Just dump it right in there. And then anytime I have a wonderful Italian soup like this, I like to do a little bit of cheese in the broth. I think it really richens the broth and really makes it taste great. So I've got some grated, where did it go? I know it was around here somewhere. Parmesan cheese that I'm just going to throw right in there with the soup. It's going to give it some great flavor, and then it's really fun to also serve some on the top. So soup's on. Quick and easy, and that zucchini is perfectly cooked. Just a little bit of a crunch to it, which is how I like it. Got a nice pretty bowl here. One zucchini left over for next time. Just took some French bread, brushed it with a little olive oil, toasted it up in the oven. Got to have some great bread for dipping and dunking. And this is not only a soup I'm going to love, this is a guy soup. This is a soup Bob's going to love because he likes anything with Italian sausage in it. So I think this one's definitely going to be a hit. And the kids will like it too. A little bit of extra cheese on top. And there you go. It's my Italian sausage and pasta soup. Perfect for a cold winter day. Recipes on our website. You can also pick it up at any area festival food.